Well, happy Monday. It is April 8th, solar eclipse day. And we just actually came back inside from watching the eclipse. It was pretty cloudy here in Austin, but still could see a little sliver of it through the clouds. That was pretty cool. Anyways, want to share with you the latest trends here in the Austin metro area. We'll start with interest rates. If you've been watching the bond market, you probably haven't. That's my job. But if you've been watching the bond market has been going up, and that is putting upward pressure on mortgage rates. So we're sitting right now a little over 7% on the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. If we look back here, obviously they're still holding fairly steady based on some of the latest. We had a strong jobs report in April, but still they're trickling up. I'm going to take you back down here to this chart, and I've mentioned this for the past several weeks, if not months. But 6.75 is this line right here. 7.25 is the top line on this chart. And we've just been trending in that pattern right there. I expect we're going to stay that way through the rest of the spring and into the summer, unless there's some catalyst that's either going to drive rates down or some really high inflationary news that would drive rates up. Keep an eye on that. But for right now, if you're a buyer with decent credit, you're going to be paying somewhere between 6.75 and 7.25% on that mortgage rate. This is a current look in real time. This is number of active versus sold listings here in Austin. You can clearly see the bell curve pattern coming back to life. Typically, we rounded out last year. Listings start to drop off in that fourth quarter. And then we start the year again, and the new group of sellers comes back out. That's your green line. So that's the number of active homes for sale. But you can also see clearly the blue line is buyers buying or writing contracts, closing on properties. You can really see the number of sales significantly going up. This is what happens every spring. And we will typically see that start to peak out as we get into June. And then by July, we're going to see it start to drop off, at least in terms of number of sales. The listings may keep going a little bit past July, but keep an eye on that too. This is just clearly showing us what we expect. The spring is going to have a lot of activity. We're feeling it in the market. There's numerous homes getting multiple offers right now if they're in good shape. Kind of nice listings. The best listings are probably going to be getting that buyer activity. I'm going to show you this chart because this is what people like to think about. Where's the price? How's the market trending on price? So this is looking at the last 12 months. This is our historic sales price trend. This was last June is when we peaked out last year. And we peaked out last summer at 475 median home value. And then we just kind of softened the rest of the year. Rates had gone up. It got expensive. There was very anemic buyer activity through about January of this year. We bottomed out. Let's see where we get to January. We were at 425 median home price when we started the year. So it came down about 50 grand. From January to now, look at what's happening. Boom, there's the spring market, and it's pretty steep right here. It could change because April, it's too early. So the April part could soften as we get more closed sales. But right now, we're about 495. So we've seen a median home price jump. That does not mean each house has gone up that much. That just means the market is seeing more buyer activity. And typically it also means that the higher priced homes are starting to move a little more. And when they move, it pulls the price up. But we're seeing the market move up. I can tell you right now, we're feeling it and we're seeing that activity in the market. I want to share this chart with you. This came from Heritage Title. It's probably too hard to read in this video, but what is it? It's a zip code statistical look at March. The reason I wanted to bring this up is don't focus too much on the price and how many listings, but this very last column, I just wanted to point out that real estate is micro. It literally can get down to the zip code, how things are trending. So if we look at some of these, 78701 is the top line. That's our downtown zip code. Those are mostly condos, and it's taking about 110 days on average to get under contract, to get one of those condos under contract. If I come down to 78702, which is just east of downtown, mostly single family homes, they're selling a lot faster, only about 37 days to get under contract. A lot of these are going to be somewhere between 1 and 3 months. If I come down to 78739, which is one part of Southwest Austin, 32 days on the market. But if I look at another zip code, nearby, you might have 72 days on the market. Point being is you got to know what you're looking at, where you're looking at it, what zip codes are kind of heating up, which ones are softening. price point of the properties. And this is where working with a great real estate agent who can pull this data for you is really helpful. But just know the market in general is overall about 3 months of inventory. But depending on which zip code you look in, maybe it's only 1 month because they're moving a lot faster. I wanted to share this. Let's see, where did that story go? Here it is. We're going to wrap up with a few headlines. So this one I thought was interesting. They titled it Flip Flop. Austin nails new ranking as the least profitable city to have flipped a home in 2023. By the way, those guys are new construction. There's no way those are flippers. But anyways, Austin had really bad gross profits, according to Adam, which is a real estate data company. Basically said on average, flippers lost about 18 grand per flip. Now, I know some that made money. I know some that lost a lot of money because the market softened, it turned. It was very difficult to sell a property in 2023. This has nothing to do with 2024, and it has nothing to do with the pandemic, where everything you could sell anything for 100 grand over asking. This had to do with last year and how much Austin had really slowed down. They also mentioned briefly, they have in here Houston, Dallas. So San Antonio had about a 12,000 profit, Dallas 14.8, Houston 16.9. We'll see. Point being, though, is Austin was hit a little harder. And I can say that statistically, if you look at my videos from last year, Austin had a rough 2023 and second half of 2022. But I keep scrolling down, and there's one more article. Here's how much Gen Z will have spent on rent in Austin before hitting the age of 30. So if they rent until they're 30 years old, they're going to spend on average $160,000 in rent. And my little brain goes, just imagine if those were mortgage payments. So instead of being out of pocket 160 grand, you could theoretically spend that much on a mortgage. Maybe you have to spend 200,000 over a decade on a mortgage. But the difference is you might have 100 grand of equity at the end of those years versus just being 160 out of pocket. But anyways, I thought that was quite interesting. You know, if you are buying right now, this is the heat of the market. This is April, May, June. This is when most of that buying activity takes place. Everybody's getting ready. They want to get a house for the summer. And so you're going to have a lot of buyer competition out there, but you're also going to have more inventory than the buyers who bought in January through March. So just know it's kind of a mix, but you're going to have kind of both of those things happening at the same time. We are seeing the best properties, the good properties listed well, good price, pretty turnkey, don't need a lot of work. Those are the properties that right now are getting multiple offers and can sell at or above the list price. We're still seeing other properties that maybe need some work, aren't priced well. Those are sitting around and taking much longer to sell. But on average, 3 months is what we're seeing to move properties in the market. If you're a seller and you're not sure when you're going to list your house, I would say, how soon can you list your house? This is the time to get on the market. This is every year when we see the most number of sales per month, April, May, and June. It will start to slow down in July unless there is a catalyst, like maybe interest rates dropping at that time, that might spur some additional buyer activity. But most buyers want a house for the summer. So if you are a seller, now is the time to get that property on the market. Anyways, we're going to bring this data to you each and every week. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel at Ryan Kelly Group. Click that subscribe button, and it'll make sure you get these videos, even if you're not working with us on a week-to-week basis. But until then, if you know somebody looking to buy, sell, or invest in Austin, we'd love the opportunity to visit with them. Until then, hope you enjoyed the solar eclipse, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks.